Alright, welcome neighbors to Miracle Farm 1927 Homestead. And I'm out here. It's in the farm today. We've been getting hay equipment ready. We're about to do most square bales we've ever done. Something we've done. I got this new tire on our tedder. Stuff like that, got it already. We put a new remote system on our Ford so we can actually power it and everything, or power, you know, it has to raise up when you go down the road. And so right now we're cutting the hay, as you can see. That down there's already cut. He's cutting this. This has got some it's got some ryegrass in it, but there's a lot of pretty fescue and stuff in it too. So anyway, that's our 1943 B model John Deere. It's a hand cranker, and it's got a I think a number 6 mower on it, 7-foot sickle. It's an old hand crank tractor, so doesn't crank wood. It's got the magneto isn't great on it, so I had to pull it off with the Ford usually. So anyway, right here I want to show y'all a little bit. We do work these old tractors. I know y'all see them in my other videos. We do a lot of these things that have to get out and work. Usually my grandpa, he's mowing, but his foot got hurt this week, so he didn't much feel like getting on the tractor today. Daddy always wants to get a disc mower because it's a lot faster, but everybody always enjoys old John Deere running, so it's what we got, and it does a pretty good job. See here, pretty good looking hay. It cuts pretty close to the ground. He said, Papa always said he used to mow in 3rd gear with this old tractor. The old guides are wore out and everything, so it, you know, doesn't do that good anymore, but it still does a pretty good job. It's got that old Klein Boy special straight pipe on it. It ain't quite as loud as our G's or our D, but it talks pretty good. It's a pretty good old running tractor. That's the problem with these old sickle mowers. It gets tangled up on the sickle, all the grass does, so you kind of got to back up and get it off and go forward and back up. It's a lot of work. That stuff's pretty big, so he's having trouble with it. The other field was a little bit better. I should have filmed it, but I didn't have my camera out. This stuff's just so thick. But there's kind of a neat story with this tractor. This tractor, that's actually It was my grandpa's tractor. He bought it back in the day, probably back in the 60s when he bought this tractor. And that is just his farm tractor. He used to work for people and cutting silage. And he worked for a big group. And a lot of people would just come out and they would pay the farmers to cut their silage for them. And it would be pretty neat. They'd have some boys had I don't remember if it was an M or an H farmall, but if you know, the farmalls compared to the styled 2-cylinders, they had a better road gear. Styled 2-cylinder will run about 15 mile an hour, and an H or an M will probably run about 23 mile an hour. You know, an H or an M farmall. And this is back when my grandpa was pretty young, and they'd go home for the day after cutting silage, and my grandpa, he'd be running down the road, and these two brothers, they was riding on their M, and they'd come up behind them and try to pass them. They'd get in the other lane to pass them coming down the road, because that tractor's just a farmall is a little bit faster. They got a better road gear. And so Papa, he had a string tied to the governor on that B, and he would pull that carburetor wide open going down the road when they tried to pass him, and that farmall couldn't keep up with that John Deere with the governors wide open, which that was not a good thing to do, because that's going to run a lot of RPMs for them old Babbitt bearings, you know. But anyway, that was just a pretty neat thing. They could never pass him with that string tied to the governor. But anyway, I just wanted to do a little video cutting hay. It's a 80-year-old tractor out here. It don't look like it's doing too good at the moment because that grass is pretty thick, but she does pretty good. We've been cutting hay. It's been cutting hay for a long time, and hopefully I can keep it cutting hay for a lot longer. I think the motor's been, my dad built the motor. It's put high compression pistons back in it. It's got a little bit of leak on the head gasket. I think we're going to have to pull the head sometime on him. I usually keep the water drained out, or usually we run antifreeze in it. I keep it drained out in the winter time because it'll fill up the cylinder sitting. Running it does fine, but so I just keep it drained out since we run it just a couple times a year mowing hay. But anyway, there's the old B model. We'll see y'all later.